The Islamic Republic of Iran, a nation of almost 80 million, a people with a proud history dating back thousands of years, a country bridging the world's most volatile regions, and one which confuses much of the world with its mysterious system of government and uncertain intentions. Iran is following a path others have taken in its quest for nuclear energy, but perhaps beyond. And with Iran, we're told the potential risks are somehow greater, and the opportunity to act won't last long. But what do we really know about the Iranian nuclear threat? What the experts know and what they don't know may surprise you. Iran began its nuclear program under the Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Its first research reactor in Tehran and the fuel to run it was supplied by the United States. But in 1979, the revolution and the birth of the Islamic Republic. Ayatollah Khomeini initially suspended Iran's nuclear efforts and then changed his mind after a devastating 8-year war with Iraq, when Saddam Hussein used chemical weapons on Iran as well as on his own people. Khomeini's successor, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has said as recently as this year that Iran never has and never will go after nuclear weapons.
We do not have nuclear weapons, and we shall not build nuclear weapons.
But from the outside, Iran has long given the impression that it does have something to hide. In 2002, the world discovered Natanz, a secret underground plant to enrich uranium. In 2009, it uncovered another plant, Fordo, built deep inside a mountain near the holy city of Rome. And then there's a research center at Esfahan, and at Arak, construction on a reactor that could produce plutonium. And finally, the conventional military site at Parchin, where the UN nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, alleges that Iran may have carried out nuclear-related explosive tests in the early 2000s.
Iran is not telling us everything. We are asking Iran to engage with us proactively.
We categorically reject that any of the military sites are related to nuclear weapon activities or nuclear activities.
But uncertainty lingers.
To resolve this issue will require Iran to come to the table and discuss in a clear and forthright way how to prove to the international community that the intentions of their nuclear program are peaceful.
I've seen no evidence that there is a nuclear weapons program. None. There is none. I haven't seen it. The IAEA hasn't seen it. The U.S. intelligence agencies have not seen it. Nobody has seen evidence of a nuclear weapons program. Full stop.
I think it's very clear that they had a program, that they wanted to build a bomb, and you can see that because you can see the facilities they built. Those facilities don't make sense for anything other than a bomb.
It was stopped first of all in 2002, 2003, and then I think by finding out about the Qom site, this underground enrichment site, stopped what could have turned out to be a parallel military enrichment program aimed at making weapon-grade uranium.
Parchin is extremely well known. There are a few unusual buildings there that one would say don't look like the normal kinds of buildings you'd see at a site like that.
The IAEA is saying that Iran is unwilling to allow them to go to the Parchin military site. They believe that earlier in the decade, a container area was built for the testing of explosive devices.
Iran did not reject that. Iran asked elucidation on what basis, what kind of test they want to do, when they want to look, and what will be the end result. If the Western community is asking us for more transparency, then we should expect for more cooperation.
Is anything nuclear related happening, or did it happen at Parchin?
Not at all. I think they know pretty well. I think United States intelligence services and the West, and they know that we are not after building nuclear weapons. This is part of a game about us.
We know that they have come very close to developing and testing a neutron initiator, the device necessary to initiate and sustain a chain reaction. We know that they've done the complex mathematical calculations. We know that they have done warhead planning and they have warhead design efforts.
One of the important things to keep in mind is that the evidence supports that there's no secret parallel enrichment site now able to make any significant quantity of weapon-grade uranium.
You want to take it up to about 90%. That's considered weapons grade. What isn't intuitive is that when you've enriched uranium to 20%, you've actually put in most of the work. So let's say that the natural uranium atoms are red and everything else is blue, and you're trying to find just the red ones and take them out. When you get up to about 20%, that means 1 in 5 are now red. Okay, now you're up to the point where you can see the red ones very easily. What you have is a very large number of machines working in the very beginning, and at the very top of what's called the cascade of thousands of machines, you maybe only have 3 or 4 that are taking the material from, let's say, 80% to 90%.
If they did want to break out, they'd have to do it at Natanz in the underground halls, and it would take them months. We think over 6 months, 7 months, to make enough weapon-grade uranium for a bomb. When the enriched uranium comes out of the centrifuges, it goes into a tank and is solidified, and that tank has a seal. The other thing is it's under camera surveillance, and inspectors come about every 2 weeks. Essentially, that within 2 to 4 weeks, the IA would know that some material's been diverted.
They have a legal binding treaty-type agreement with the state that says, you tell us what facilities you have, what material you have, and we will come and inspect them and verify that you're telling us the truth. IAEA is not for you to just run around the country and ask questions. So, as much as I hate to say it, the Iranians are correct in saying that the IAEA has no right to ask some of the questions they're asking, and they have no right to go some of the places they're asking to go.
There is an additional protocol to the NPT. That protocol gives the IAEA even more authority to inspect sites. From 2003 to 2005, the Iranians voluntarily agreed to this higher standard, the additional protocol. But when they didn't get anything in return for the United States, Iran stopped adhering to that additional protocol. So what Iran does today is it adheres to the letter of the law of the NPT treaty and does not do anything extra.
We have total suspicion of the Americans and Western intentions.
So what do you want to hear them say?
Well, Iran's right to use fully all of its possibilities under NPT.
So the right to enrich and the right to continue a civil program.
And then they should ask us for more transparency. That's fantastic. We agree with that. The best thing is that we take steps which leads to whatever they say, adding the confidence, and also it will give us also the confidence. The lack of confidence is both ways.
Ordinary Iranians absolutely, by and large, support the nuclear program for peaceful purposes, and some actually support it for nuclear weapons as well. When I was in Iran last year, I heard from a number of people saying, well, why shouldn't we have the nuclear bomb? And I'm not talking about people who are regime supporters. I'm talking about ordinary Iranians who might not even like the regime. A lot of people in America don't realize the president of Iran is not the commander-in-chief. President Ahmadinejad does not have the military reporting to him. The supreme leader does. It's his decision to suspend uranium enrichment if Iran ever does that, and it did it once in the past. It's his decision to expand enrichment.
There is a belief in Washington, I think a very deeply held one, that Iran either has nuclear weapons today or is determined to get them. The current Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and the former Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, have both ruled that the pursuit of weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapons, is un-Islamic. It is forbidden in Islam.
Iran's Supreme Leader the other day again mentioned his fatwa against nuclear weapons. He called it, again publicly, a great sin. What message is he sending? Is he sending a message to President Obama that Iran will not cross Obama's red lines, will not go military in its nuclear program?
The message is clear. Deal with Iran as it is. Iran is not after nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapon is not an asset for us, it's more liability. Pakistan has nuclear weapon. You see, it's a shamble country in terms of security. It doesn't add to our security. We are secure enough. We are strong enough. without nuclear weapon, and it is against the fatwa of Ayatollah Khamenei. Nobody has daring to do that.
So even if Iran was attacked, you wouldn't decide to go towards a nuclear military program?
This is the fatwa of Imam Khomeini and the fatwa of Ayatollah Khamenei.